Welcome back to another episode of A Shot of Weeb. This is episode 31. 31, and I didn't just learn that. I promise.
Please, has there been a single episode that we knew ahead of time what number it is? I don't think so.
Episode 1. I had that one on lock. Had that one locked down. But no, say as always, I am one of your hosts, the Suit Ambassador, and I am joined by the Epic Wob.
Yeah, that's me. I'm the dumb one.
Nope. Say before we get into it, just want to say, drink responsibly. We are.
And we know what we're doing.
Say tonight I am drinking a Arnold Palmer Spiked. It's a banger drink. If you're 21 years or older, definitely get it because it slaps.
You trying to sell for them?
Arnold Palmer, please sponsor me. Please.
I'm going to be working through that awful bottle of Smirnoff I opened last episode.
Yeah, the watermelon one, right?
Oh, yeah, it's real bad. I've got a bottle of Sprite, and then because we're in the middle of a heat wave, a massive jar of water.
Nice.
Which, by the way, we're gonna we'll see. We're gonna do the best we can, like in post, to tidy up the audio. There might be background sound. I am running a fan. There is no way I'm not running a fan. It is 90 degrees and humid in my bedroom.
And they don't install air conditioning up there.
Too far north.
Yep.
I'm dying.
Well, this week was your choice for show. So what did you choose?
I picked out for us to watch. I wanted an easy watch because we're cramming a lot of episodes recording in like a short amount of time. And the second season had just come out for one of my favorites, so I took the two together and I'm like, okay, we're finally going to watch it. I've been talking about this for months, since like episode like 10 or something, at least.
Probably, yeah.
We finally sat down and watched Zombieland Saga, one of my favorites.
Yeah, or more accurately, we both rewatched it.
Yeah, how long ago had you like originally seen it? Did you watch it as it was coming out?
No, I didn't watch it as it was airing. Zombieland Saga was one of those anime that I chose. It's a pretty high honor. I watched the whole thing New Year's Eve into the new year. So I'm trying to remember which year. I think this was I want to say 2018 to 2019, like that New Year's.
That would make sense. That's when this came out. Was 2018. It was
yeah.
Well, it would have it would have just ended.
That's why I chose it. That's why I chose it for then. Yeah, because I remember I was staying at my aunt's house and like we all watched it. Me and my cousins all watched it because I had told them about my tradition, and they were like, "Oh man, what are you watching?" And I told them. They're like, "Yeah, we're watching it with you, dog."
But I didn't know you did New Year's anime. That sounds amazing. Do you want to know what I did? Do you want to know what I did this past New Year's?
What?
I was working a closing shift at Domino's.
That's right. Yeah.
So we closed early, but we still had like all the actual closing to do. So we just stood in the lobby, and I pulled up like a live stream of New York Times or whatever, the Times Square, on my phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have watched it about a year or so after. I think it was last year that I watched it. It would have been sometime fairly recent. I think it was before I moved into this place. It would have been when I was still in college.
Okay. So it's been like a little over a year then, probably.
A year and a half thereabouts, yeah. And then season 2 just ended like this last month. So I'm again, part of the reason I picked this is because I really, really want to get in and see where it continued.
Oh yeah, no.
Should I take that shot that I poured? Should we do that?
Oh yeah, we probably.
We talked about it and then we didn't do it.
Yeah, I'm not taking shots again this week because again we are batch recording. So I'm
just taking like 2
I will
shots.
take a big old swig of Arnold Palmer Spiked. Find it in your local grocery store or whatever. I don't know. I don't really know where they sell it. Please sponsor me. Or us.
Arnold Palmer.
Arnold Palmer.
Arnold Palmer.
Kampai.
Kampai. I don't want it.
You got to do it. Come on. There you go.
It's so bad.
Well, yeah.
Pro tip.
I mean,
I'm learning this the hard way, but pro tip. Don't buy the cheap stuff.
yeah. No, you don't want to buy the cheap stuff. But also, like...
I mean, to be fair, I usually buy the cheap stuff. This is, like, equally cheap, but significantly worse.
Some cheap stuff is good. That is not.
No, that is not at all. I was like, hey, let's try something fancy. Let's do it something different, and that was a mistake.
Your fancy was Smirnoff.
Hey, it has a foreign name. That means it's fancy.
All right, buddy. Okay. If that's all it takes, man.
No.
Your standards for a lot are really low.
Next week, I am going to make something cool. I'm going to make my own mixed drink. I have to buy a lime before I can do that. But next week, I'm going to be making something from scratch, dude. Or scratch. I have a cocktail shaker kit. I bought it on clearance.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I can't wait to see that drink next week.
I'd make one for both of us, but I don't think I can get it to you.
No, I don't know how well the USPS does with that. I think they step on packages.
Just send you a rocks glass with grog in it through the general postage. Just put it in an envelope.
Yeah, just put it in an envelope, no glass. Just, like, pour it in there, That's all you gotta do.
Yeah, that tracks.
Yep. But, alrighty, well, where do you want to start with Zombieland Saga?
That's a good question.
Your choice.
Why don't we should talk before we even get into the show? We should talk about how the OP and how 1, it's amazing, and 2, has nothing to do with the rest of the show.
Oh yeah, no, it's fantastic.
So
I love the OP.
I would recommend, like, honestly, before we talk about it, just go watch the OP of this. It's called Audubon and Necromancy. Mm-hmm. Give that a listen. Watch the music video. And then as we talk about the show, you will see how it is. They are not the same thing.
Yeah. No, it's an absolute banger. And it is if I'm agreeing with Wob and Wob actually learned the name for the song. So, like, that's, big ups there.
That's fair. There's only, like, 4 shows that I remember the song titles for, like, series.
Yeah.
So this is up there with JoJo's and Soul Eater now.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a banger. I had forgotten how good the OP was actually. Till we rewatched it.
What genre would it be called? I mentioned JoJo's and now I've got Great Days playing in my head and it's blocking me from remembering Adavana. I'm
not gonna lie. I do just kind of have that Naruto OP stuck in my head that we listened to before starting recording.
So we're both thinking the wrong song.
Yeah, but I know what it looks like. I don't know. I think I'd call it probably like pop rock.
Probably. And so like they're all like Power Ranger Magic Girl hybrids and they fight like a lobster.
There's
but at the same
thing.
But at the same time Kotaro, who we'll talk about in a moment when we get to characters, is like dancing with zombies in like these cutaway shots, and he gets eaten by his dog, who's like oversized, which is, and then also is the main character running from like waves of undead, even though she is also undead. There's so much happening.
She got captured by the lobster monster, which is why the rest of the girls had to form the Sentai's team.
Yeah, they like fly in and they do like a power pose and it's like so good.
It's great. Absolutely fantastic. Love that OP. And it starts off with like really like horror visuals.
Oh, absolutely.
And then it turns into this like super stylized Sentai like show with also like, Kotaro's just kind of there doing Kotaro things.
The very beginning of it, I feel, would fit in with like what's the name of the show? You're gonna judge me if you want. I've not seen the show. I only know this song because I have it's on Osu.
Okay.
I think it was Another. It's the one that I get mixed up because with Chunibyo because the characters look similar. The main characters.
Yeah, that's Another. Yeah.
Yeah. I get the same kind of energy from like the first bit of Audubana and like that OP. like visually?
I can't remember the visuals for that OP.
But one thing
I kind of like correlated to is not necessarily the OP, because I don't remember that as much, but more just like the I guess like key visuals, kind of. So like, you know, like the posters that they make to like release to promote it, you know. That stuff for the show Shiki.
I don't know this one at all.
It's a fantastic show. Highly recommend it. But it's 24 episodes, I think, so I know it'll take you like 4 years.
If it takes me that long to watch a 24 episode show, dude, we're gonna be like 70 by the time I finish One Piece.
Yeah, when did you start watching Death Note and still haven't finished it?
Shut up.
No. But yeah, OP's fantastic. And then the ED for this show, though, the ED for Zombieland Saga is
take it or leave it personally.
Really? Okay, I really enjoy it. I like how it kind of like calms everything down, because
Absolutely.
the show is very hyper, you know, and like very like fast paced or whatever, because it's a comedy first and foremost, right? But I liked how like the ED slowed down. It was a bit more somber, and the watercolor visuals were beautiful. And yeah, I mean, it's not like a top favorite ED or anything, but
yeah,
I think it works really well, especially for like if you were watching this weekly, that would be like a really good way to wind down after the episode. You know what I mean?
Yes, kind of, but also then it has the episode preview right after with Sakura like rattling off its 70,000 words a minute. So,
well, Sakura or Lily or
usually Sakura.
Saki. I don't know. I think they all do get a turn, except for Tai.
Well, obviously,
for obvious reasons. Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, that would have been amazing if they gave in an episode preview to Tai.
I wish Tai would have gotten an episode preview. That would have been fantastic.
That's part of why I'm hyped for season 2. I want to know what they do with her.
Yeah, I know.
But anyway. Do you mind if I kick off into plot so that people have an idea what we're talking about?
Go for it.
So the show starts off with pink hair, young anime girl is like watching a pop star. She's like, yo, she's the best. I'm going to take my turn and follow my dreams. And she has like an application to a pop agency, I'm pretty sure. I think we find that out in the first episode. We might not find that out till later.
I'm pretty sure it is. I think they show the address for the idol agency. Yeah,
I believe so. And so she like runs down the stairs, puts on her shoes. She's talking about how great life is, runs out the front door, and gets hit by a truck.
Yeah, this scene was very memed on when the show came out.
Understandably so.
It was all over Twitter because people were like, "What in the fuck just happened?" You know, because and that's the point. Which is why it's...
Is this where Truck-kun started? Because, like, I've seen a ton of shows that have that.
No, that was before.
This was just like this was just like a particularly unexpected one.
Well, yeah, because this show isn't an isekai.
Yeah, no, because I mean, we've talked about Truck-kun in like another show we watched on here, another one about zombies actually. In Koryo wa Zombie, there's an episode where he just gets like mowed down by a truck.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, isn't that how Konosuba starts?
Yes and no.
He does get hit by a truck, though.
Yes and no.
Okay.
Minor spoilers for the intro of Konosuba. He sees a girl about to get hit by a truck, jumps in front of it to shove her away. He dies, and they're like, "You're an idiot. It was a tractor going like 2 miles an hour, and it didn't even hit you."
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Oh man, I should really watch season 2 of that show.
You should. I do recommend. I know it's not going to happen, but I want season 3 to come out.
I don't know. It might, but who knows?
It depends on... I don't know how well the movie did. I haven't actually seen the movie yet.
I've heard that the movie is people's like favorite thing so far. So
I'll have to get around to it.
You should definitely watch it
because I watched season 1 and season 2. I just never saw the movie when it came out.
Yeah.
So she gets hit by a truck. Sakura is mega dead. Also. By the way, Truck-kun comes in super unexpected. Do you know how many times that happens in this show?
It's
three times.
Yeah.
Main cast get run over by a truck 3 times in the show.
It's great. Oh man,
and I don't know if this makes me a bad person, but it's funnier every time.
No, it is, because like it's even more unexpected every time.
I mean, well, the third one was really expected because they were very clearly echoing the first episode with it.
Oh yeah, but like I don't know. I still, not to get into like heavy spoilers here, but I didn't think that it would happen. The first time I watched it, initially when I watched it, I thought they were mirroring the opening scene.
And then was going to like show how things have changed, how things are going right for her now.
Yes, that's why it was unexpected for me. Whereas the second one was, it was unexpected as well.
The second one's the best one.
The second one is the best one, but we gotta wait. We
have to talk about that one at the time of it.
It doesn't make any sense to talk about that one right now.
So basically, she wakes up in this house. There's zombies. She's terrified. Ty is like trying to eat her. She's running away. She runs into a different room with a bunch of zombies, and she starts panicking. She picks up like a fireplace poker, jabs it through one of their heads, and then like freaks out.
Yeah.
And like runs away. Bumps into a police officer, and the police officer freaks out and shoots her, and that's when she realizes that she's also dead. That's
when we see that too.
Yeah, because like we didn't.
She had been in, like, she looked like she had before.
She was like in her self-perception still, yeah.
Yeah, and then as soon as the police officer kind of like starts to freak out, then it cuts to her, and I love the police officer. And like whenever he sees, I love his perspective of them.
Saga only has one officer.
Yeah, and he only has a bike. But like his perspective, it's always like the most horrifying zombie like thing of them when they're all honestly, like cute girls.
Despite how adorable this show ends up throughout most of the runtime, the first half of episode 1 is actually like has a lot of really creepy imagery.
Yeah, no, I think it does a really good job of balancing the like horror aspect with the comedy.
And then they just swap it out for like the later part, and it's like once you like start to understand what's actually happening, they dip more into the idol and the comedy than the zombie. Yeah,
but the zombie, it's still like definitely there.
As absolutely.
Like a through line. Yeah,
I mean, I have a note where I put that they frequently use what I have started referring to as zombie humor. You know, like any instance where someone's like arm or head comes off, because they do that a lot throughout the show.
Yeah. It's fantastic.
There's so many details in this that I picked up on a second time through that I just didn't like catch the first time. So like this was a very good experience to like hop back in and like pick up on so much more. That's awesome. So obviously the entire main cast is dead. I went on like an entire evening long while I was watching the show and in between watching the show, obsessively taking notes, trying to find out exactly when and how everyone died, like writing down every time they alluded to it. And I mean, granted, a lot of them get told to you later, but the dates aren't very clear with few exception.
Yeah.
So I was over here trying to do the math.
There's only, 2 of them that we don't know how they died, right?
There's 2 that we don't know how they died, but one of them I have a confident answer.
Okay. I know we'll get to it later. I am interested to see
let's
one.
like establish our main cast, and then I'll put my tinfoil hat on.
Okay. And then while we're doing this also, because we have to do this now, we can't wait till the end. We gotta guess best girl for each other.
Ooh.
Okay. Because I literally can't wait until the end of the show this time.
You
because there's stuff I have to talk about.
Dude, I'm super rusty. You realize how long it's been since I've had to guess your best girl, and I wasn't even good at it back then. I know, it's been a while since I've had to guess yours too. I have no idea whose yours is going to be. But I guess here I'll go first, introducing a character. And then is it best girl as in like waifu, or best girl as in favorite? Because that will change my answer for you. You have to decide that, because you know mine's going to be the same. I don't like that.
Yeah, but you know that it will be. Like, here, I'll let you you think about it while we introduce the characters. How about that?
Okay.
All right. Okay.
I think I know what I'm gonna answer, and I'm also probably wrong.
Alrighty. Well, we have got, for starters, obviously we've kind of like introduced her a little bit, but it's Sakura Minamoto. She is this cute, like pinkish, like pink-haired girl.
What was that one thing you said where you're like, ooh, a pink-haired girl named Sakura, so original?
Yeah, but this one, her hair's like not that bright Sakura pink.
I'm going to riff on that. I'm going to riff on that every single time because you have made excuses every time I've called you on it, except for that one.
Yeah, because that show's garbage.
It was not that bad.
It was.
The shot of Weeb episode 2, Classroom of the Elite.
Yeah, that was all the way back in episode 2.
2 or 3. It was really early.
Yeah. Anyways, Sakura's great. She's got like a big old bow, and she has like a kind of a small side ponytail, I guess, with the bow.
Oh, did she?
Really, yeah, like the bow kind of. No, like it's all like down, but like it's a small like bit of her hair is collected with the bow. It's not like a full-on side ponytail or anything. But.
Yeah, like what? Oh wait, no, Saki doesn't have a side tail. That's like just
she has a regular ponytail. Yeah. But yeah, see, she's super enthusiastic about all the idol stuff, and like pushes everybody to be their best, and like she's not the leader of the team,
but she's the hype of the team,
and the glue.
Mm-hmm.
So that's Sakura. She's great.
Big
fan of Sakura. Big fan of all the girls though. So
Saki is the actual leader of the team. She has a very like aggressive, semi-aggressive, definitely fiery personality. Mm-hmm. She was a former bike gang captain before she died, and so that's where a lot of her like tough girl persona comes from.
Yep.
She's like blonde. She has this massive ponytail. It's almost as tall as she is, with like colored streaks in it. It looks so cool. I wish I could pull off that look.
It is really sick. Yeah, she's always got hair covering the one eye too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's the one that officially leads the group.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and that is. Oh, also, we should mention Sakura is number 1, and Saki is number 2. They all have numbers for the inside of their group.
Yeah, I always forget which number's which though, except for Tai. She's 0.
Tai is 0. I believe I is 3. Junko 4.
Yeah, because Lily 5 sounds right.
Lily 5 and then Yugiri 6. I believe that's right. But it's not super important outside of just like that's how they are known by their fans.
Would it make sense to talk about... Sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying like their fans don't know their like actual names because they're dead.
That could cause problems.
A lot of them are famous, which could cause some serious issues.
Well, half of them are. 3 of them.
At least 3 of them, but like some of them could be recognized as well because of where they're at.
Yeah,
because it all takes. We didn't mention it all takes place in Saga, which is why it's called Zombieland Saga.
Not all of the characters are from Saga, though.
No, not all of the characters are from Saga, but there is one that is famous in Saga, which is Saki, for being in the bike gang.
Yeah, because that was a Saga bike gang.
Mm-hmm.
And then 3 of them have like actual superstar status from when they were alive.
Yeah, and possibly one other one, but it has been so long ago.
Wait, who do you mean on the other?
Yugiri.
Well, yeah, she'd be ancient history.
Yeah, but there is a chance, like in history books and stuff. Because it wasn't like that long ago, but yeah, we'll get into it. Next up on our list of characters, I guess is
of the main cast.
The main cast, yeah, is Ai Mizuno, a former pop idol. The lead.
She would be the most famous of the group, I'd say.
Maybe.
Because she's also pretty recent comparatively.
Yeah, I think because of her recency,
Actually, wait, no, she's not the most recent. I figured this out. I wrote it down. She's not the most recent. I lied.
No, she's not the most recent, but she was the leader from the group Iron Frill, which is still around, I believe.
And they're actively still performing. They were at Saga Rock.
Active. Yeah, they're still actively performing, and like she was like the leader of that group. And so it happens very early on. I think it happens in episode 1 or 2 when the detectives are at like just happen to see the group, and the one detective's like,
that's not till 5. That's not till the chicken episode in the Olympics.
That's not till that late? I was pretty sure they saw them once before, because the guy was like,
I don't think they notice. I don't think they say anything about them until they see the Yakitori commercial.
No, I don't think he didn't say anything. He was just there and he kind of had like this suspicious face that he made.
I'll take your word on that.
That might have been in episode 2 when they were at the whatever, but that doesn't really matter. Ai's like the hard worker, knows all about the idol business, like modern idol business, and so kind of helps everybody, I guess, get accustomed to the lifestyle more, I would say.
Yeah. Junko is one of the other really famous ones. She was also a former pop idol. However, she is from a previous time. And again, I'll talk more about that when I go down the rabbit hole, if we have time. I hope we do. I'll make time for it, dang it. I want to talk about it.
We will make time for it. Well, specifically,
I'll write an essay.
Specifically, she's from the Showa era.
What is that? I meant to look up what that was.
Yeah, so the Showa era was... Well,
I'm ready to take notes on this. This is important.
Well, right now, Japan is in the Reiwa era. That just started, I believe, 2 years ago, because the new emperor's name is Reiwa. Before that was Heisei.
Wait, they still have emperors?
Yeah, I think it's more of a title, kind of like the Queen of England.
I'm assuming it's Queen of England kind of thing, but I didn't realize they still had that.
Yep. And then before that was Heisei, and then I think that started in the 80s. Hold up, I know how to check. It looks like 1989. Thank you, Super Sentai.
And so Showa would be right before that, wouldn't it?
Showa was right before that. Yeah,
that lines up with my calculations.
And I don't remember when it started exactly. But yeah, because the reason I know is because most toku is divided into eras. So like there's the Heisei Godzilla series, the Showa Godzilla series, and then Sentai, Kamen Rider, Ultraman, so on and so forth. And
that lines up, that tracks.
Yeah. And so the Showa was, like early to mid 1900s. I think is probably the best way to think about it. So yeah, that's when she was the idol. So yeah, you can continue on with what else she is.
Well, that's about it. The only she ends up with conflict later with Ai, because although she's also familiar with the idol business, she was a solo artist, so she has a very different perspective on it. Plus, again, this was about 30 years prior, 20 or 30 years prior, so the dynamic was different as well, and that comes up later.
Yeah, and say idols were, treated their fans very differently back then. Next, we've got Tai, number 0. She's great. We
literally don't know anything about Tai, and that's
she can't talk. She loves, but she can understand. Because she knows because Sakura is able to teach her the dances.
She's clearly sentient.
Yeah, she's clearly sentient. Because there was a difference between, because at the beginning of the show, when Sakura first meets everybody, none of them are awake, quote unquote.
Yeah, that's the term they used, was awake.
Yeah, because they're all still like mindless zombies, and then they all get woken up and become not mindless zombies. I don't know what a better way to put it is.
Except Tai, she kind of wakes up, but she does not gain full competency. No,
because her movements are super, rigid,
sluggish.
Sluggish. She can't talk. She likes to chew on people. And
especially squid.
especially squid. But you know what she can do? She can cock-a-doodle-doo with the best of them.
Yeah, we'll get to that. There is one specific episode of this show that I could talk an entire podcast episode about just that one episode.
Yeah, I know which episode that one is.
You know which, it took up half a page by itself.
Yeah, I believe it. All right, who's next?
Who is next? Yugiri. She does not have a last name. She is from the Meiji era. She is described as having been a famous courtesan shortly after the time of the shogunate. So, I don't know what year's frame that is. I didn't look it up. I should have looked it up.
I'm pretty sure that's in the...
That'd be somewhere in the 1800s.
Perfect. Thank you, Annie List. Yeah, she was born in on November 23rd.
I don't want specific answers.
Fine, I will give you the year she died. How about that? Is that okay?
I guess.
Or here, I won't even give you the year. I'll save that.
Give me the decade.
To see if you're right. Yeah. It's the 1880s.
That's exactly what I was suspecting.
Yeah. Yep. That was her. So that's her kind of era where she's from. She's the oldest one of them.
Oh, by a significant margin.
Mm-hmm. And then
and she leads into that with like her outfit. She wears a lot of traditional clothing. She introduces herself as a courtesan. She dresses up in like full out geisha regalia at one point.
She's also speaking very like old fashioned and very politely all the time.
She uses different honorifics. She calls the people Han instead of San, which I'm assuming was just like a language change that happened over time.
Probably. I don't fully know, to be honest.
That's what would make sense.
We could have looked it up, but where's the fun in that?
Let's research. Our research is shots of vodka.
Yeah. gang.
Do you want to take the last one? The last of the main ones?
Going from the oldest to the youngest. We've got Lily Hoshikawa. Lily is a 12-year-old girl. Big blue hair. Very cute. And very bubbly personality and everything. She's great. A lot of fun to be around. And she has her own dedicated episode, which we will get into.
We'll definitely get into that one.
We'll get into that one.
That episode is one of the reasons I was a little loath to bring this on the show. But
yeah.
I have had enough experience to know that I don't get that emotional while recording. We'll be fine.
Yeah, no. See, if I didn't cry fully while talking about Kakagarashi, maybe we're fine.
I came this close to crying while rewatching the episode. I did the first time through. I think this time I was braced for it. I knew it was coming. Yeah,
I was very close this time as well. I did tear up, and unexpectedly, too. But yeah. Well,
I knew it was coming. That episode, we'll get to it. It hits me particularly a little extra close to home. Yeah. Which I'll be willing to, like, in brief terms talk about. Again, we're not there yet.
No, we're not. We will get there. But there is one more character.
This is going to be a long episode.
Hey, that's... dog. Yes, it is.
We borrowed time from our Genshiken recording.
Yes. There's one more character, though, to talk about.
Yeah, although not part of the idols.
No, he's not one of the idols, but he is one of the main cast.
Definitely.
And who is that?
Oh, it's my turn. Whoops.
It is.
Kotaro Tatsumi. He is this... Oh, God, he's a dick, but he's lovable, and he's eccentric. He's the person who raised them all from the dead, and he did this to form them into a pop idol group specifically to bring economic gain and revitalization to the prefecture of Saga.
Yep.
Is it prefecture or precinct? Prefecture?
Prefecture, yeah.
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 He knows how to wrangle zombies. He keeps Squid around for both Ty and his dog Romero. Romero should be listed in the main cast.
Romero's great. Yeah.
Let's see, what else does he do? He's a smooth talker, like mega bisexual energy, because he smooth talks anyone. He's great and terrible at the same time.
Yeah. Have you ever watched Best Guy Ever?
No.
Wait,
I don't know what that is.
No. We watched that Gurren Lagann video.
Wait, did we?
Together, didn't we? Didn't I show you?
Oh, you made me watch that like essay about why it's some amazing show.
Yeah. Kotaro is literally just best guy ever. Like, it's insane. Like, he made that observation because of how they look. They look very similar. And then, like, so even before the show came out, he's like, man, I can't believe they turned me into an anime character. And the show came out, and Kotaro's an asshole, and, like, yells a lot, and, like, but he gets stuff done. And then Best Guy Ever's like, man, it really is me. It's great. That's the best way I like to describe him to people who have seen Best Guy Ever's videos. He's a YouTuber, for those who don't know. And, you know, if it's so perfect, honestly. It's just such a good comparison. But yeah, Kotaro is great and an asshole and has great reaction faces.
Yeah, he's a trip.
Yeah.
So, that's the cast. That's the important part.
Mm-hmm. Now for the even more important part. Best girl time.
Oh,
baby.
Right. I did not come to an answer.
Okay.
Well, I think I know what it is. I'm gonna answer differently. Hopefully I'm wrong. I'm going to guess
for my favorite?
No, Sakura. I'm an idiot. It's Sakura. I'm stupid.
You are wrong on both accounts, buddy.
You're gonna change it to the one I don't want you to say.
Well, it's not been changed. This girl has been my favorite since I initially watched the show, and it was just reconfirmed. Who do you not want me to say?
Just go ahead and answer, bud. Or guess mine.
Well, okay, yeah, I'll guess yours first. Okay, so do you know who your favorite and waifu is separately? If I give answers for both of those.
No, I'll put them together. I had to think for a second because there's a very strong runner-up, but no, I'll leave the answers together here.
Okay, then I'm not gonna say that one. I'm gonna go with Junko.
That's you're guessing white-haired girl, aren't you?
It's not just because of that. That is part of the reason, but not just because of that. Even though that theory has been disproven so many times, but it more the personality. I don't know.
Yeah, you're also wrong.
Yeah. Can I guess what your runner up is? Because I hope
how can you guess the runner up if you don't know the first?
I just hope that this one's not your favorite and waifu combined.
That's the same thing I was just saying about you. I'm confused now.
No. Mine is just one character. I don't because I am Ace. I don't have
you
a
don't
waifu.
you don't get waifus.
No. So that's why I said it will be the same, because there's no difference.
That's fair. That's right. You get a pass. I forgot about the whole Ace thing.
Yeah. No, but so I want to guess your favorite character.
Your favorite character is Lily.
No.
No, really?
No.
Am I gonna guess the entire cast?
Is that who you didn't want to say? That's
what I didn't want. That's what I didn't want you to. Because you said favorite and waifu were the same before we titled it back to say that there is no waifu because of your situation.
Well, that's why they'll be the same.
So I did not want you to pick Lily because she's 12.
Well, that's why I didn't want to guess Lily for you when you combined them, because I didn't want that to be your waifu either. But is that your
I'm glad we were both scared of the same thing. No.
That's okay. I thought Lily might have been your favorite character.
Dude, the first and second place here are both very obvious. I'm surprised you haven't called them on me. Because I bet you, I'm going to compare our friendships. I bet you if I got Kyle in here, he'd call them immediately.
Okay. I mean, you still haven't got mine.
It's something
and
that I have
3 characters. That's
fair. It's some. To be fair, the stuff. The reason, the reason for mine is stuff that I don't think I've talked to you about as much.
Maybe not. All right. Well, who's the characters? Who are they? Reveal.
I'm running out of options. Are you Junko?
No.
Are you gonna?
No,
pick
I'm not
Junko?
Junko. No.
All right, take your shot.
I was just saying,
We're just gonna bounce back and forth.
Time for reveal. Time for reveal.
Yeah, because we're getting nowhere.
So who is it? Who is it for you?
Who's mine? Saki, obviously.
You motherfucker.
What?
How the fuck did we agree this time? Why is this the show that we agree on everything for? I actually no. There will be one thing we disagree on, but we'll get to that later.
Okay, I just want to say we have fully agreed on a show before. It was Kill la Kill. This is not unheard of.
That is true. It's not unheard of, but it is rare. It is rare. So, but still, we didn't agree on best girl. I don't think in Kill la Kill.
No, you were part of the Mako troupe, weren't you?
I do like Mako a lot, yeah, because she's crazy. But
Mako's good, dude.
Okay.
But I like that fire energy, man. That's why I was a Ryuko fan in that one.
Yeah, I love Saki. She's been my favorite since day one.
Yeah, no, she's great.
I will say though, Sakura is my second. So
my second's Yugiri. I
okay.
9 times out of 10, if there's an older character, like I'm in.
Now I know what to go for. White hair and older characters. Where's the grandma? What's her name?
No. Okay, buddy.
Oh, man. All right, well, now that we each know that it's the same character for each other.
That was a train wreck. We wasted so much time on that.
Yeah, we did. Oh, my God. I thought I had yours down this time, but... All right, well, I guess... What, it's time to lead into episode 2?
Episode any of them? So, I think we're gonna... I'm gonna skip a little bit of here, which is unfortunate, but basically...
I do... Okay.
Okay.
Well, I want to mention something from episode 2, because it's one of my favorite episodes. But I really like the rap portion.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So, I mentioned that the OP has, like, nothing to do with the rest of the show. Because of that reason, that's why when I'm trying to introduce people to this show, I show them the rap battle.
Yeah, no, that's that's a very good introduction, I think. Mm-hmm. Even though it is the only rapping in the show, and I wish there was more of it.
Nope, there is one other. It's also in episode 2. There's a group of beatboxers try to chase them down when they sneak out of the mansion.
Well, that's what I meant. I meant like outside of episode 2. But like I wish the girls did it more. I wish the girls did it more.
In the early parts of the show, the girl group, they changed their name a couple times. They start off as Death Musume because they're doing like a rock show.
Yeah,
that changes to Green Face when they're playing for old people. Mm-hmm. And then they change that to Franshushu, which is what they keep through the rest of the show.
Yeah, because they'd just been given the names by Kotaro.
Mm-hmm. Whereas they picked out Franshushu when Tai sneezed.
Yeah. Franshushu. Yeah, love Tai. Yeah, but they say also they were trying to find their sound in the beginning, which makes sense why they go through all these different styles. But I really like that too because it gets them a lot of different fans that would otherwise not be into idols at all.
Yeah,
like
including
hardcore like metal fans that come to all of their shows and were there. They were there day one.
Every performance, they're at the old person's rap song. They're at Saga Rock. They're at they show up every time.
Yep, it's great. I love those guys. They go to all of the handshake events and meet and greets. Mm-hmm. Love them.
Where was I going with that? The rap battle is excellent, and it does show off like the energy of all of the characters because like it starts off with Saki and Sakura getting into an argument, and then they start just like rapping on it, and then Kotaro pops up in the corner and starts laying down a beat for them. And that shows Kotaro's energy. That's like exactly what he'd do. Tai, her head is bounced around. That's why they're fighting, is because Tai's doing zombie stuff.
Yeah.
And so there's Tai's energy. Things start like actually turning into song, and Yugiri pulls out a fucking shamisen and starts playing a beat. And I'm like, yes, that's what she would do. She's a bard. And then Lily's just like, this is great. I want in.
Yeah, doesn't she just kind of like start dancing?
Yeah, she's just like, give me low, and runs in, and I'm just like, oh, it's so good.
Yeah, it's great. It's so good. I love
that. Watch the rap battle. Watch the show.
Just watch the show. But if you're not sold on it, watch the rap battle, and you will be.
Yes.
Like 100%. Yeah, and so then on from, I say that's pretty much all that I really wanted to mention for episode 2, I think.
Yeah, thank you for stopping me and bringing up the rap battle, because I would have skipped it and I would have hated myself for it.
Yeah, no, we're not skipping the rap battle. Come on, dude.
Episode 3, there's good humor that I don't think is worth like really going into, but it's good. And it does lead into one of my complaints on this show. And even then, it's not a lasting complaint. Okay. They do their first performance as Fran Shushu. They're doing a guerrilla performance where they just set up in a park and start singing.
Oh, I remember what the complaint is now.
Every thought just went right out of my head.
I'm pretty sure I remember your complaint.
All of the 2D animation looks really good. Their practice sequences look really good. The dancing in the practice sequences looks really good. Later on, there's a different band performing. It looks really good. For some reason, when Fran Shushu performs, they switch to 3D. 3D modeling. Which, I don't know why. Because their 2D animation was so good.
Well, I think the reason is because it's a lot easier, especially for music style content, that like, because the same thing happens in Love Live, where the girls will, when they do their performances, they'll be in CG. It's a lot easier to like have dynamic camera movements for like a quote unquote like music video kind of thing, right?
That's fair. Yeah, it does let you do a lot more camera movement.
You get a lot more camera movement. You get more, honestly, you get more like fluid motions. For, I'm not gonna say like cheaper, but it is like quicker.
See, that's the thing though. Like, your camera movement point is fair, and that one I'll take that one. But as far as the look of it, I think it just looks significantly worse than the 2D in almost every way. Now, by the end of the show, the 3D sequences were still weird, a little off-putting compared to the rest, but like not bad. But the episode 3 one is absolutely terrible, and it comes out of nowhere, to the point that every time episode 3 comes around, they go to 2D or to 3D for the first time, and I just cringe a little bit.
I don't know. I'm like, it's not, it definitely like looks out of place, but I don't necessarily have a problem with it, because I'm sure there's budgetary reasons for that decision. Like, it was clearly not a like a, oh damn it, we have to put this in here kind of thing, you know. And so I don't mind it, really. It is a little jarring. Like, I'm not gonna say that it looks like perfect or better than the 2D that they've shown before, but I don't think they would have been able to keep up that same pace with the 2D for the whole song, you know, like
I think I can see that. I don't like the way it looks. To be fair, though, again, one, like I said, it gets better going forward. The later 3D sequences are not near as bad. And two, that is also probably literally the only complaint I have about this show, so we'll take that.
Yeah, I think it helps too, because later, this is the only one that takes place during broad daylight.
Yeah, all the other performances are on stage.
Are on stage or at night. Or, you know, or so both. They're able to like hide it with like kind of like the darkness, like the lighting, whereas this one's just on the middle of a sidewalk in front of a mall or something. But yeah, no, this whole sequence, it's really cute, because like I believe it's I doesn't want to do it, so she stays in the van, or the other 6 go out and do their guerrilla performance. And then, they're still really rusty. They were only given like 3 days to practice or less, because they're zombies. They don't have to sleep. As Kotaro says. But yeah, and so they do the whole performance, and then the same thing that kept happening in practice. Lily trips over Sakura, I believe, and so falls, and Sakura runs over to her. It's like, "Hey, are you okay?" And everybody who was watching was like, "Oh, okay." It's just
pieces out.
It's just amateurs, whatever, and they leave. I comes in, helps save the performance, and there's this one little girl who's watching them and dancing along. It's adorable. I love it.
She's jiving.
It's great. And so they made their first fan is Fran Shushu. It's great. Love it so much. Oh my god.
It's really, really good. I'm going to put us into the next episode, and then I'm going to call break so that we can have the, like, 2 really long episodes can take up like the second half alone.
Which are your 2 very long episodes?
Oh, the Dreventori and Lily.
Okay, yeah, then we're gonna have 3.
Yeah,
long
wait, actually, yeah, no,
episodes.
hold on. There's a lot to talk about in Saki's episode 2.
Anyways, go ahead and bring us that next episode.
I mean, we can try to get through 5 before the break, but it might be pushing our luck.
Nah, we'll see how it goes.
We'll try. This, like I said, this is probably actually going to be a long episode, and I apologize in advance, but there's so much we need to talk about.
I don't apologize. So,
We piloted this show saying we were going to do 1.5-hour episodes.
Yeah, but the first episode was like 2 hours long.
And then so was every other one.
Yes.
I mean, episode 4, that's the pharmaceutical company. That's when they're performing. They're trying to get their first sponsorship.
Yeah, and they go to the hot springs.
Yep. They go to a hot spring hotel where this pharmaceutical company is having like a retreat, and they booked Francesco to perform for them and like try to be like good marketing. And this is where Kotaro first puts on his charm. He's like talking to this like 40-something, 50-something old lady who's the head of the company, and she starts to like think about something else, and he just stands up. He does like this pretty boy stance and grabs her by the chin, and she blushes, and I'm just like, dude, all right, man. Well, if it gets you money, I guess, whatever.
Yep.
It works. They do a really good performance. It's an absolute slam. But then the girls are like, it's the middle of the night. No one's out in the hot springs. We need to go to the hot springs. It's important. Or rather, Saki wants to go. Sakura's like, hey, we shouldn't do that. And then Junko like overhears them, and Sakura's like, no, we're not doing it. And Junko says, but I want to. And so they all go out there.
Yeah. It's great.
So just swimming around them because it's water. So the way they like actually look like zombies normally, but they do like Kotaro has Hollywood makeup experience, so he can make them look like normal people for like a performance or something. Mm-hmm. But since this is in the water, they lose all that. They just straight look like zombies.
Yeah.
And they're out chilling in the hot spring when the pharmaceutical lady comes out. And so there ends up hijinks where Sakura tries to hide, trips, her head falls off and lands in the pharmaceutical lady's pool, and then there's like a chase, and like everything goes wrong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's great. It's so much fun.
Oh, and they made a phrasing joke, which I think was really funny. They were all just like talking, and then Yugiri, again, remember, she's like an old school courtesan, makes a comment where she's like, we need to figure out how we can best pleasure our customers. And then Sakura's like, phrasing! It's so good.
It's fantastic. Yeah, and then so they finally, after the whole chase scene through the hotel, they all eventually make it back to their rooms and everything. Next day, they're all leaving, and Kotaro goes up to the older lady and is like, thank you so much for giving us a chance. And her attendant is kind of there. He's like, yeah, I don't know what happened last night. She got terrified, and she doesn't remember a single thing from yesterday. And so she doesn't remember all the work that they had done for her and stuff. And so it just kind of cuts immediately back into their cell, the dungeon essentially, where they have all their meetings. And Kotaro's like, you idiots, don't do that again or I swear. And he just kind of leaves.
It's top quality.
It's fantastic. Oh yeah.
Do we have time to tackle episode 5? Because there is a lot here.
I don't know how much you're going to go into it. So
5 is my favorite episode, and I wrote as much about 5 as I did 2, 3, and 4 together.
Oh. Wow. Yeah, let's go. Let's do it. Sorry to be a long episode.
We're hopping in. Okay. So Kotaro is like, hey, we didn't get funding from the pharmaceutical company because you literally traumatized her. But I've got us a new gig. I've got us a new promotion. We're doing a commercial for Drive-In Tori. And Saki is immediately in.
She is hype.
Because apparently this is a very famous local drive-in place that her gang would go to after thing. It's just a drive-in chicken grill.
It's very important to Saga.
Yeah, and very important to Saki.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
This is they go there. They have the meeting with the boss. They have food, and this is why I say Kotaro has like that super bi charm, because he does the same thing with like the grab under the chin, smooth talking to this like 50-year-old man as well. Mm-hmm. And it works.
That's great. Oh yeah, of course.
Okay, maybe I can actually summarize this a lot. I have a lot of notes, but we can like.
Well, Ty
there was something about baseball. Why do I have? Right. This is a minor detail.
Before that.
Oh, but we're already past it.
Okay, you're about to pass the other thing, and it's irrelevant right now.
Okay.
Because while Kotaro is doing his whole like, his whole thing with the owner of Drive-In Tori or whatever, Ty is just like, they're all eating chicken, to get a taste for what the chicken's like. Ty's just over there chowing down on the raw chicken, and it's amazing. I love it. And the guy just looks over, he's like, it's not that fresh. Like, it's pretty fresh, but not quite that much. It's fantastic. All right, now what did you want to go back to?
I skipped one of my favorite bits of like visual humor, because Kotaro does a lot of like getting in your face and like yelling. He does it to Sakura a lot. Mm-hmm. But on rare occasions, he tries to do it to Saki, and he never comes out unscathed when he does that.
Yeah.
In this particular instance, he gets in Saki's face, and she is not having any of it, and chucks a baseball right into his knee. And he just ends up down on the ground, and is just like, yo, you're good to go, and then just like sneaks out. It was... You don't mess with Saki.
Yeah.
It's so good when it doubles back, because I think Saki's the only one who ever fights him back. I think Junko might do it once.
I think Yugiri slaps him once.
Oh yeah, she catches him in like the restaurant, and she's like, "Don't you ever say that!" And then he's confused because he's like, "I literally just said I believed in her. You heard me, right?" And he feels so betrayed.
That's a lot. That's way far.
Yeah.
That is finale territory.
So they're filming a chicken episode, and this episode actually has a couple of sequences that were shot with like actual people, and then have like a sort of like pointillism filter put over it, so as to like look like the original commercial, which means they filmed the Yakitori commercial with actual people, and I want to see that.
Yeah,
but basically they put all the girls in chicken outfits, and then they have the mascot Koko-san is there as well, and it's just some dude in like a very convincing chicken outfit, and so they're having to like actually hold Ty back from trying to eat him.
Yeah, it's because she just kind of eats whatever she wants to, attacks willy-nilly, and they eventually get her held back though, and so then they're doing all their. They're doing the dance and the song, and Ty's singing along too, and Ty,
it is ruining the audio. In the
words of Sakura, Ty doesn't do audio because
so So they're like, okay, Ty. So there's a bit where you got to do a chicken, a rooster, cock-a-doodle do a sound. Just join in for that part, and she kills it every time.
Well, no, the first time she does it immediately. As soon as the song starts, then she does the thing. They're like, no. You got to do it like on time. And a lot of time passes. And eventually the director's like, all right, I think that one was good. And he's like, all right, that was good. And then Kotaro comes over, he's like, no, it wasn't. That was awful. You guys, you got to be the chicken. You're not being the chicken right now. Yeah.
Saki eats it up. She's in. And then
Saki's fully in, yeah. And Ty says, what was the phrasing that he used? It was very specific.
I'm not sure quite what you refer to here.
The way that Kotaro said, I believe, something about like being the chicken. Oh, you have to devour the chicken to become one with it. And then
Tai goes feral.
Tai goes feral, and then Kotaro's like, this is it. This is the shot you want.
By that we mean she's chasing down the guy in the chicken costume.
Yes, and rips off his tail. And they use some of the footage in the actual commercial, and it's great.
It's really good. And then that commercial plays like at random places throughout the rest of the episode. That's how a lot of people get like their first. They're like, oh, this sounds interesting. Because they see the commercial.
Throughout the rest of the show, not even just that episode.
It wasn't Junko that fights back. It's later in the same episode. They're like, he starts sassing Ai in the second half of this episode. He's doing like this Frenchman bit where he has a baguette and he's like,
oh yeah. Ai grabs the baguette and just beats him over the head with it.
It's such a fluid animation. Like,
it's fantastic.
This show has good fight sequences, and there's only like 2 fights, and by fights I mean like 1 attack, and they're so good.
Yeah, they are really good.
I think I just really like it when they beat up Kotaro.
Oh man.
The second half of episode 5 is a local Saga event called the Gat Olympics. It's a mud party tourney thing.
Yeah,
mud sports.
It's just a lot of different events that involve, for the most part, falling in mud.
Like you've got to like ride a bike across like these thin boards. You've got to do like a Tarzan swing into a mud pit.
And I'm pretty sure the bike is like the handlebars are tied so it can't turn.
Oh, is that what it is?
I'm pretty sure that's what all like the tape was on the front. And so
that would explain why they fall so easily.
Yeah, because they can't actually steer it. Which makes it a lot more difficult. Yeah, then there's the Tarzan swing, and then
I don't think there's a third one actually.
No, I think that was it. Yeah.
The bike one isn't that impressive. Things. They all like whiff on the bike because they're all wearing French Shushu t-shirts that they got just for this, but it's a mud sport, so those get like completely covered over immediately.
It's also the worst design I've ever seen.
They've had to put a second one on Tai because she tears her first one, so she's wearing 2 shirts. They all whiff on the bike one. And they're like, oh, we have an extra competitor, and Kotaro lines up. And they're like, oh, it's good, we all failed, but he can promote us. And they're like, what are you here for? And he's like, because I want to. Do you have anything else to say? No, I'll do my best. And then he just crosses. He does flawless. He like wins it.
Yeah. Yep.
It doesn't say anything about French Shushu. Completely useless. They go to do the Tarzan swing, and everybody does this different. Like some of them just like straight fall. Lily like torpedoes forward, and it's really, really good. I think it's either Ai or Junko launches herself straight upward, gets like a huge vertical, but like half a meter distance. Yeah, that's Saki. She gets like she gets a little over half a meter, but yeah, she's so gung-ho that she lets go too late, that she's just in a straight vertical. Sakura just completely loses her grip because of the mud, falls face first, face plants. And then Yugiri's was one of my favorites. Yugiri's was she top grabs quality. The rope and she's like doing this dance like maneuvers on it, and then she steps back onto like the starting position, like full on acrobat routine. Yeah, and she gets I believe she gets 3 5s. Yeah, she gets a bunch of style points, even though she had literally no distance. They're like literally all those points are style because her distance was 0. And just so funny actually, because like she does all of these like poses and like everything, and then when she steps back onto the platform, she just like looks back at the judges, and you can tell she's so proud of herself. Oh yeah. No, but one of the things about that though that was odd to me, right? Because I remember she got all 5s, and then Lily went and did her torpedo thing, and they were like, "What? That's the second, or that's the 4th highest distance, I think, or something." Yeah, I'm assuming there were non-French Shushu competitors as well, though. Yeah. So
Well, no, I know that, but she got a 5, a 4, and a 5, and they're like, wow. Or no, that's what it was. She got that, and she got a 5, 4, and a 5, and they're like, wow, that's like she's in 4th place, but like Yugiri was not with a higher score. So I don't know what the old men scoring were there for.
I'm making it up as they go. I mean, they weren't paying attention half the time.
Well, you know.
I don't remember how they manage it, but Tai gives it a try, and she gets, like, perfect distance, way farther than everybody else.
It's because Tai gets on the rope and doesn't jump off the thing. She's just, like, on it, and it's just hanging there, and then she starts to swing back and forth on the rope.
Yeah, she doesn't go from the platform. She just climbs on.
And then she lets go, and all of her body parts split apart. And all the girls are like, holy shit, we have to do something.
So they all charge in, and the announcer's like, oh, whoa, her friends are coming to help. We can't tell what's happening.
Yeah.
So they run and reassemble her.
Such good sportsmanship. And then Tai just, because they're all dead tired after the sprint that they did. And then Tai just gets up and is like, yay. And she got the farthest distance. She got first place. But obviously because she can't talk, she can't exactly promote them on the podium.
But then Sakura realizes, idea. She's wearing 2 shirts. She has another French shirt under that. She's like, Tai, rip your shirt. So she rips the mud-covered shirt, and the other one is a Drive-In Tory t-shirt. Not French Shushu, so they just advertise the restaurant instead.
Yep. It's great. Very good episode.
I have a note that just says nice bird in quotes. I think someone said that like in English, and it cracked me up.
Do you want to take a guess who said that?
Was it Kotaro? It's always Kotaro.
Yeah, it's Kotaro, because at the very end, that's the last thing that's said in the episode, because when they're like, do you have anything else to say, Tai, about like your win? She just does her cock-a-doodle-doo, and then Kotaro just says, nice bird, and the episode ends. And that's it.
Well, it doesn't quite end, because after that is when the detective recognizes Junko.
Oh, yeah, I mean, that's when he first says something about it, but they're there from the beginning.
Yeah. But, yeah, no, I think if you've seen early episodes of A Shot of Weeb, y'all know that I absolutely love bad English, and that is, like, half of Kotaro's thing, because he keeps, like, playing at, like, he tries to do, like, yodeling at one bit, he tries to be French, he tries to do, like, ancient sumo thing, he jumps all over the place.
Okay, no. Whoa.
Whatever it is, it's the thing, it's
the kabuki play.
Kabuki, there it is, okay.
Yeah, not sumo.
So, look, man, my brain's rusty. I knew I recognized what it was, but I couldn't put the word to it. Yeah, but yeah, it's a kabuki. Either way, yeah, no, I love. He has good English. He is all English.
Mm-hmm. But with that being said, it is time for the break.
We are already running long, and it's going to get worse going forward.
I don't know. We just got a couple episodes left to talk about. We've talked about most of the major stuff, but
yeah,
if we keep doing this kind of small talk, it will be going long.
Okay.
So we will see you after the break.
We'll be back. Hello, and welcome back to the second half of episode 31, A Shot of Weeb, Zombieland Saga. We definitely have not been sitting here for several minutes because I forgot I was the one who had the intro. Definitely not.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely, dude.
Definitely not. Do you want to take our drinks? Or my shot, your city?
Yeah, I definitely did. I didn't just take a drink, yeah.
Okay, I'm getting my Sprite. It's time to suffer again. I can't wait till this bottle's over with so that I can buy something good.
Alright.
I should use my good hand because I will spill it on myself because I'm stupid. There we go.
You ready?
Yeah.
Kanpai.
Kanpai.
Good stuff. Arnold Palmer.
I'm having to try so hard to not taste it.
Yeah.
That one's really bad.
Sounds like a you problem.
It is. I've got at least another month of that one. Oh boy.
Yup.
All right.
Well,
So
when we left
there's
off,
a lot still to go. We left off right before Saga Rock. They're doing some computer research. They're trying to figure out how much internet presence they have, and they find out they have a website that Kotaro made, and it is absolutely atrocious.
Mm-hmm.
It's really bad.
I want him to design my website. That's what I want.
Yugiri seems to think the computer's magic, but she also just kind of goes with it. I was a little bit worried that they'd like lean in really hard on the like, what's this magic contraption? But no, she's just like, this thing's weird. What is it? And they explain it, and she's like, okay.
And she hits it.
She does hit it, which is kind of funny.
Like, no, don't do that. And she's like, oh, okay.
At least she learns, because like, I don't. What was the? Do you know what Dark Shadows is? I think is what it was called. Not an anime.
Think so. Well then, no, dude. Is it a toku?
It was an old. I think, an old like TV show with like this like guy's a vampire or something. Who,
you mean that Johnny Depp movie?
Time. And then they had that really bad Johnny Depp movie, and I remember like a lot of the commercials had him like trying to figure out how this tiny demon is trapped in this box, and I'm like, I was a little worried they were going to go into that, but no, Yugiri's not stupid, so I'm glad they didn't go in on that.
Well, she just learned to like go with it because she knows she's been dead for a long time.
Yeah, for like 100+ years.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But during this whole thing, they have a session where they're going to meet their fans, the photo op. Junko's like, no, I can't do this. Freaks out. Ai's like, but you have to do this. And then they get in a big fight. Kotaro yells at him. And then him and Junko have Junko locks herself up for a while. Mm-hmm. And then her and Kotaro have like a little heart-to-heart, and kind of just, he's like, look, this is just how it is now, but if you don't want to do it, then just tell him you're not going to do it, and that's your character. We've
skipped a little bit here, because that happens in episode 7 is when she locks herself in a room. Before that, both Ai and Junko like run away, and we get sequences with them outside, and that's how we find out how they died. Should I mention that now, or should I go like deep into the theory?
I mean, you can say how they died. You don't have to say like when they died or whatever.
Gotcha. Basically, we find out that Junko was like a pretty up and coming like solo pop star, and she was doing like her first like major like long distance tour, and her plane crashed as she was leaving Saga, so that's how she's done. And then Ai has the most badass death sequence. Like it is stunning imagery. She was performing with Iron Frill. I think it was at Saga Rock. It was at least on an outside stage in the middle of a storm, and they get to like the climax of the song, and she's their front, so she's out like ahead of everybody else, pointing at the sky, and she gets struck by lightning. And the cinematography that they use on that sequence, I was like, I knew I needed to take notes on that, but like I had to stop and just like take that in for a moment. They animate it, it very powerfully.
Yeah. No, it's a really cool sequence, but it's also funny. Like with most of the deaths. There's a bit of a, because it's not necessarily like really funny, but it's so over the top, her specifically, that it's humorous.
I mean, I disagree a little bit. I feel like Lily's and Sakura's are the only ones that they really have like a humor aspect personally. Because like I feel like when they talk about deaths, they're taking it a lot more seriously, with some exception.
No, they're taking it seriously, but it's so ridiculous that it's kind of funny. Because I mean, getting struck by lightning at the climax of your song on stage and dying in like a pose pointing to the sky is insane and ridiculous.
It's kind
of
metal.
And in that respect, it's funny. It's like they're not like playing it up for a joke, but it is just that ridiculousness of it.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, they next is a bit where I'm a little confused in my notes here. I'm trying to figure out where things happen, actually. Because, like, okay. I thought this... Because when she locks herself in the closet, I thought they were... They, like, take turns to go in and talk to her, and I thought I made a note about that, but I'm not seeing it. But basically, they, like, all take their turns. They all, like, wake up in the middle of the night to go try to talk.
Did they do that for her?
That was for Junko.
I do not remember them doing that for Junko.
No, that was Sakura. That was later.
Yes.
There's 2 people that barricade in the roof.
Yes. That's in the last episode.
That would explain why my notes weren't making sense.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that was in, like, episode 11.
Yeah. But she's locked herself away. Like, they try to talk to her outside of the door, but they don't, like, wake up in the middle of the night and, like, go in or anything.
No, that's later. The
only one who's able to, like, get in is Kotaro, who kicks the door down and saying, "Why don't lock yourself in here, dumbass."
That's why I have Kiki Blammo written in full
Yeah, because he
caps.
did say Kiki Blammo as he kicked the door down.
You have to do it with style.
And then Junko was right behind the door, and so he knocked Junko down, and he's like, "Oh, crap." And so he just sits there, waits for her to wake up. Then they have their heart-to-heart.
Yeah, and he's
like,
basically
well, that's
like...
your character, then. Make that your character and tell him, and we'll figure something out. But because you're so extreme, your character is so extreme, your other members will have to kind of help make up for it, which is what they're there for. And
he also like acknowledges like that like, hey, yeah, I know you're scared, but you're not the only person who's fighting that off. Like, Junko is literally about to have to relive how she died. Yeah,
because she, like, they don't really talk about how each other died to each other until, like, later on, till, like, it's necessary. So, yeah.
I think Saki is the only one who knows how I died.
Saki knows how I died, and Sakura knows how Junko dies, except for Kotaro, who knows how everybody died.
Well, yeah.
But yeah, so
he's got the lore. He's the lore keeper.
So yeah, they go through all of that, and then as he's like, "All right, but you got to make your decision," kind of deal, and then walks off. It's like, "Oh, also fix this fucking door that I broke down." And so she fixes the door and still doesn't leave the room. And they're all leaving to head out to Saga Rock. And they're waiting for her. And he's like, "All right, get in. We got to go." And she didn't show up. So they all get in the van and they start to go. And she sprints out, gets in the middle of the road in front of the van, and the van just fucking plows her, dog. Like,
Kotaro runs her down.
And then he hits her. She smacks into the window the same way Sakura did. And it's a triple take. She flips over the van exactly the same, lands the same, everything. And Kotaro's face is clearly like, "Oh, fuck. That was not intentional." So they get out of the car. Sakura's going to go help her. And he's like, No.
She needs to do this herself.
She has to do this herself. And they're like, "What the fuck are you talking about, dog? Nah." And so, then they all get together. She tells them, like, "Hey, I'm not doing the meet and greet thing, but, like, let's go do the performance." Then they go to Saga Rock.
And they're prepping up. There's a big storm coming in.
Yep, and before them is Iron Frill, I believe, is playing before them. And Iron Frill's show goes great. And then right before they're about to get on, the storm starts. It starts pouring down rain.
This is another one of the episodes that spawned a meme that got shared around, because since they all have makeup on, to like show that they're not zombies. Kotaro's like, oh, we need to fix this, and he pulls out a bottle of shoe wax sealant spray,
which he says was made for zombies, until Saki goes and inspects the cans and sees that they're made for shoes.
Sprays it right in Sakura's face.
Yeah. So then they all go out there on stage, and the first song, it's really, Ai is not doing great, because her and Junko are supposed to have like this duet solo thing for this song. Ai's not doing great. Junko steps in to help her out, and so they kind of like, they make it through, and then at the climax of the song, the whole stage gets struck by fucking lightning. Again. And everybody's like, holy shit, all of these girls are dead.
And then it escalates.
Then they start to glow, they get auto-tune, and then they continue, and they have finger lasers. They've got the whole works. They got it all. It is a fantastic show. Oh my god.
This is the stupidest thing in the show, and I love everything about it.
Yeah, it's really good. It is really good.
Oh man.
And so then that's how, and then the episode ends with them singing their song instead of the credits. It's their the regular ED. It's their song, and performance and everything. And the detectives in the you know, he's there watching him. He's like, okay, that's really weird. You know, that's how that one. And then we go into episode 8, which I believe is one of your favorite episodes.
Yeah. It's not as favorite as 5. It doesn't have the same kind of good energy, but this one hits the feels. Like, it'll hit anyone's feels, but it like really speaks to me. They're doing another meet and greet, and this absolute massive dude with a tiny head shows up. Goes up to Lily's table. They're all freaking out. They're like, he's Yakuza. This is going to cause problems. He's like muscle. So this is not
he's
good.
A loan shark coming back for the loan. The Tatsumi.
Coming for Kotaro's money.
And Kotaro is just gone.
He gets a big dude gets in Lily's line, and like reaches down and grabs her shoulders. And Saki just, I think it was Saki?
Yes, it was Saki.
Just like air jump kicks the man into a wall.
And then one of the metal dudes who's always there at the performance is like, God, I wish that were me. Wishing to be kicked by Saki. And his friend just stares at him like, what the fuck?
No, that's fair. And then Lily is like more spooked than anything. She looks like more concerned that this man just got kicked. And they're like, dude, are you all right? And she's like, they go into the side room, and she's like, that's literally my dad.
Yeah. Yep. And then we get her backstory.
It is almost a full episode of backstory. We already knew she was a TV star, like a child actress. Her dad apparently loved TV. She got into TV for him, and he quit his job to become like her manager.
And also, her mother died.
Yeah, her mother was already dead.
Yeah, her mother was already dead, and so it was like the only thing they really had in common was they would watch TV together. You know, and so then she becomes a star, and he's her manager.
And they're already having a bit of a fight because the dad is trying to get Lily to like grow up. Yeah, I'm just gonna props to this show for, I mean, I know she's a kid, so this is going to sound a little weird to say, but it's correct as far as I'm concerned, for talking about a trans character and not using it primarily as a joke.
No, that's never part of the joke, really. I guess it kind of is at the end, but no.
They do riff on it a little bit in that Lily's original name is very butch. Yeah,
because Lily's, like, essentially dead name is Masao, which is a very masculine. Masao Go, which is a very masculine name. But Lily was, you know, like, Lily was always acted like a girl, dressed like a girl, like Lily was a girl, and but then like we see, because like she's locked herself up in her room because she had leg hair and didn't want that to be shown on TV, and her dad's like, well, look, that's fine, they're not going to show that. But then that's the first time we like hear her old name.
Because he's not being affirming at all about it.
No, because he's like, Maso, it's time to grow up and stuff, and probably because I think he just doesn't understand. He's not like,
I don't think it was like
him being a piece of shit.
Yeah, it wasn't it wasn't antagonistic.
No, there's no like malice behind what he was saying. It was more like he was trying to like do what probably like his father told him, like, you know, once you reach a certain age you have to grow up and become a man, kind of thing. And then the way Lily died. You want to say how Lily dies? You want me to?
This is one of the sillier ones.
Yeah, but
it fits with what's the prior conversation.
It also needs to be.
Yeah, she's looking in the mirror and notices that she's grown a hair on her chin, and she has a fucking heart attack. Literally,
No,
it's not
a heart attack. She had mental trauma.
Well, it
affected her mentally, and then death by shock, like mental shock. Which it wasn't a heart attack, I don't think at all. I think it was mental shock, and then she slammed her head on the floor, which just sealed the deal that she died.
Okay, see, I thought it was heart related because that leads into.
I didn't think so.
Okay, I'm gonna take a little bit of an aside here. This will lead into the conversation we'll have after when I went like full tinfoil theory. We never are told how Yugiri dies, but I realized they've hidden clues to the deaths in their zombie designs, and that's why I thought Lily's was a heart attack, was because the most notable feature of her is that her heart will come out of her chest frequently.
Yeah, I thought, I don't know, they didn't mention anything about her heart in, not the autopsy, but that thing, when they were saying how she died. It was mental trauma, and then she hit her head, and that's why she died.
To be fair, mental shock would kind of just stop your heart, though.
Yeah, I'd say it would kind of stop your heart.
So that's why I went there with it. That's how I interpreted it.
Okay. Okay. That's okay. I was looking at her character page to see. Okay, yeah. No, her cause of death was mental shock. Yeah, they do have that listed. Yeah, because I think the heart thing was more of her, wearing her heart on her sleeve, kind of. But, I don't know. She also gets, stressed a lot, too.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think that might have been that, but, yeah. No, but she dies that way, which... It's a silly death, but I think it needed to be. All right, now hear me out.
They're tackling a tough issue here.
It's
so
such a heavy topic that they need something to lighten, the mood, and so having that, and then going to Saki, laughing about how butch Maso, how masculine of a name Maso is, right? Mm-hmm. But also. Which at first you're damn, Saki, damn. But then Saki follows it up with, yeah, who gives a damn? Mm-hmm. You're Lily, so, what?
It is a very inclusive message. And the show, part of it is because, part of the reason I was surprised is I didn't realize at the time, I thought this show was older than it was. I thought it was closer to 2010 than it was 2020.
Oh, yeah, no.
So I was, extra surprised to see, a transpositive message. But in 2018, yeah, I can see that happening a little more. And I'm glad that they did. That's something we need.
Yeah, it is really good that they did that.
Because, I think the only other, pardon my phrasing, this is for the whole, trap debate that happened. The reason that is a problem is because a lot of times this is not handled well. It's played off as a joke or as a, oh, I've been fooled or something like that.
I am not going to get into that at all.
Yeah,
so.
no. That's as far as I'm going to go with it, is like, it's good to see a show handling it as like an actual thing instead of just riffing on the idea.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, but so then after that, we get her backstory. They have another show, and her dad comes back to say, "Hey, I'm sorry about what happened last time. I know it was against the rules to touch you. I couldn't think straight," kind of deal. And so,
and then he explains that, like, it's because you remind me of my daughter.
Yeah, and he says daughter specifically too, which means
Good
that
plus.
Which means that like he realized like, oh,
I didn't even actually pick up on that, but you're right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so then he's like, I won't come bother you again. I'm sorry. Buys an extra small shirt, even though he normally wears a 5X. And which Lily knows.
She remembers it, yeah.
Yeah, because Lily said, "Don't you usually? Yeah, you usually buy a 5X." And he's like, "Damn, how'd you know that?" I meet a lot of people.
Good guess.
Yeah, and so then they she still wants to see him and wants him to come to their shows and everything, because it's her dad. She realized that like he's learned, or like he's changed, and like realized that what he did was wrong and everything, and like pushed her too hard. So they have all of that, and then he never watched TV after she died because obviously just kind of reminded him of her. But then he gets a flyer, or his office gets a flyer, but I think it was more, it was for him, for that they're doing like clearly a show. Lily has written a song for him that can be construed by the audiences for everybody. So
yeah,
it was very
but
smart.
we as viewers, like, it's very directly written,
and I think he knows or thinks he's like, there's something to this song, kind of deal, but they never go into it. He doesn't do anything else after it, and he only shows up at the last minute at the show too.
Yeah.
But then after that, like, he starts watching TV again, and he goes to all of their shows from now on, and is a big fan, big supporter.
It is very hard, because reasons. It is very hard for a show to make me cry. Mm-hmm. This episode does it. And at the risk of getting a little macabre for a second and oversharing, for context, when I was still too young for this to happen to, I lost my mother to cancer. So this message of like seeking closure, saying things that you didn't have that opportunity to say, like thinking about the future that you're not going to be able to share, that really fucking hits home to me. So this episode speaks to me, and that gives this show like a huge boost, like entirely.
Yeah.
Anyway, more levity topics. Let's move forward.
Yeah. So this next episode 9, is my favorite episode. And for
it's a really good one.
One of the reasons is because of the title, which the title is, "Though my life may have ended once by some twist of fate, I have risen, and if song and dance are to be my fate, then carry the memories of my comrades in my heart, as I sally forth shall be my saga." And that's a banger of a title. That's literally all they have time for in the next episode preview of episode 8, is Saki to say that title and say, "Damn, that was really long," and then it ends.
Yeah, because most of the other episodes are like new performance saga, and that's like about it.
Yeah, it's like 4 or 5 words normally.
And then Saki just has an essay.
Yeah. And yeah, because this is Saki's episode, and it's like her whole backstory. She was in a biker gang. It was a pretty sick biker gang. They're all female. They were like they owned Saga, basically. It was their turf. But they run into these girls at the park where they were doing a show, I believe.
Yeah, they were
something.
learning dances with the old people because
That's
Saga
right.
is like entirely like octogenarians. They've got to get cool with the old people.
Yep, that's right. And so they run into these 3 girls that were like, "Hey, this is our turf. Get out of here." Saki's like, "Oh, shut up. Like, you have nothing." They're riding on mopeds.
This sequence shows Saki's energy because like they come up and they're just like they're bullying Lily and Sakura, and then Lily's like, "Dude, I'm 12," and she's like, "Okay, you get a pass." But you and points to Sakura.
No. Her friends were just like, I don't think we should be bullying an elementary schooler. She's like, "Damn it, yeah, you're right."
So they round on Sakura, and she's like, Sakura's pretty mild, so she's like not taking very well. And then Saki comes up, and they're like, "You," points to Saki, "get out of here." And Saki, they like cut on a frame where she looks confused, and then it just like instant to her anger face, the anger face, and immediately the Durami biker girls are like, "Oh shit."
Yeah, and so then they're like, "Well, just remember this is our turf," and they leave. And then as they're heading back to their mansion, like the girls, the idol girls are heading back to their mansion, they see those 3 girls and the rival gang on the riverside.
And it should be said, Saki recognizes their biker gang. It was hers.
Yeah, that was her biker gang. She recognized the coats and the name. And so she sees that they're getting... Basically, I mean, they're getting surrounded. Everybody else has weapons. Like, they were basically jumped. And Saki jumps out of the car as it's driving.
Which Kotaro doesn't even notice because he's trying to ignore how much is happening in the car.
Until who was it? Lily said... I think it was Lily.
I think it's Sakura.
Oh, no, Sakura might... Yeah, Sakura did say, yeah, because Sakura said, "Hey, Saki just jumped out the car." He's like, What do you mean?" And then he didn't stop the car. And so then, Saki rolls down the hill, stands up with her head upside down, fixes it. They're like, "Oh, okay, I guess that's not really anything to worry about."
Yeah, they just breeze on past that.
Yeah. And then she like, oh man, what was it? She basically gave them the face, her anger face, and they were like, "Oh, yeah, we really probably shouldn't mess with this girl."
Yeah, she's scaring even the like the
massive
gang.
Group that was
with weapons.
With weapons. One of them had a chainsaw. So then they're like, "All right, well, we'll settle this like soon, and a different way." So then they all go home, and we find out this girl's mom was Saki's best friend, who is also in the biker gang. And the girl doesn't like her mom because she doesn't have guts.
She thinks her mom's weak because she like apologizes and is like, "Hey, don't go out and be stupid."
Yeah. So then she gets a letter of challenge in the mail, and it's like, "All right, well, time for us to do our shit." Gets the gang together, which is only 2 other girls. And they all meet in this like parking lot that's like on a cliff edge.
And Saki sees them drive past and goes, "Oh, that's pretty damn soon."
Yeah, and then Saki
Kotaro tries to stop her from leaving.
Like, yeah, her mom. Wait, no, yeah, Kotaro tries to stop Saki from leaving. Yeah, because he's like, "Look, if people see you fighting, like, that's a bad look for the whole group because idols do idol things." And she's like, "Well, I have to go." And he's like, "Oh, so you didn't listen to me at all?" And she's like, "No, I've got to go do idol things." and so he lets her go because of course he does. It's Kotaro.
And I think he knows that she's gonna like still keep things in like a good.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Like, Kotaro trusts them. Like he might be an asshole, but he trusts all of them to, not fuck up the group, essentially. And so Saki grabs a bike, and while she's doing all this, Maria is the name of the leader of
Saki's
current
friend's
leader.
daughter who leads the group.
Yeah, and so it's Maria, and then Reiko is Saki's friend's name. Reiko goes out to the garage because she realizes what's happening and moves all these boxes in a tarp.
Gets
and
back on the
still
hog.
got her fucking bike, dude.
And it looks spectacular.
It's a really sick bike. And so she goes off because she knows where they're going.
Drives out with no protective gear, just drives out in her
yeah.
apron and cooking clothes.
Well, she only has her apron for a little bit because that flies off in the ride over. And so she gets there and it's like, hey, you can't be doing this. Please, for the love of God, this is dangerous. And then Saki shows up on the bicycle and it's kind of just like, I don't remember exactly what she says as she's riding in. But crashes the bike, I think.
Pedaling like all get out.
Yeah. And then, so she's like, all right, look, this, you guys, I'll do this for you. Like, you guys don't need to be doing this. And they're like, what? You're not even in the gang. And she's like, can you really say no to somebody who wants to be in your gang? You have 3 people.
And she also points out, and this is important, she's like, hey, you don't want to do this. Some idiot died doing this.
Yeah. Which was her, which we learned.
She was the idiot.
She was the idiot doing this. And so then
and that's why Reiko wants it to end so badly, because she lost her best friend to that.
Yeah. And Reiko wanted a normal life as well. Because she didn't get a normal childhood. Normal, you know. And so then Reiko kind of recognizes Saki and is like, there's no way. And she says something to her, it's like, hey, you're not, or she says Saki. So what she said, Saki. Saki's
she recognizes Saki because she tells Saki, she's like, you don't do this, you could die. And Saki turns around and with the same motion, intonation, and phrase says exactly the thing she said right before she died. And
which I think was it's something along the lines of
no way in hell I'm gonna die.
No way in hell I'm gonna die. Yeah, because she has. There's another line to it that was kind of I've still got other shit to do.
No, I think that was it. I think that it was just
no. There's no way in hell I'm gonna die is the beginning of it, or the end of it. I mean, that's the final thing.
Either way, says. Reiko instantly definitely recognized her, calls her Saki,
and Saki just who is that? I'm not Saki. And so then they're playing chicken with the cliff, which is dumb as hell. And so she takes Saki, or Saki takes Reiko's bike to because she doesn't have her own motorcycle, obviously. Yeah. You know, and the other girl's like, all right, let's do this. And they start to go, and they get to a point, then Saki starts speeding up, and the girl's like, you what? Why? She can't be speeding up and brakes because she doesn't want to die. And Saki just goes off the edge.
Doesn't even try to brake.
Doesn't try to brake and just crashes the bike. Big explosion. And everybody's like, holy fuck, this girl just died. Until Saki's hand comes up over the cliff and she pulls herself up. And they're like, damn, you're going to be a legend. And she's like, no, this is what's going to be a legend. Or no. She doesn't say anything. And then she sees Kotaro there.
Watching from the van.
Watching from the van, and she's like, oh shit, I have to do idol stuff.
And starts promoting.
Yeah, she makes a big platform. It's I'll show you, what's gonna be a legend. Just come to our concert on this date and we'll show you. And so they get a bunch of new fans that way. And they got a new song.
I really appreciate this because they have the general pop song that is their song, it's the group song, but then they also go into specifics. Lily's song is super delicate and emotional, and then Saki's is this, they all get out the biker gang outfits and they have this much more emphatic rock jam.
It's a very impassioned, fiery song.
Yeah, because they're starting, they're in the process of starting to write songs that are more embodiments of specific members, as highlight songs. And I think that's really cool.
Yeah. I'd say I and Junko's was very poppy, idol-y too.
Oh yeah.
With their kind of quote unquote solo, duet song thing.
I forgot about that one actually.
And yeah, I love this episode though.
It's so good.
It's my favorite episode, one because it focuses on Saki, my favorite character, and 2, I mean, I just really like all the biker gang stuff.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yep.
Do we need to say much about the mountain episode? I feel like we can skip that for sake of time.
No, the mountain episode is basically just I mean, that's just kind of what preface to the finale.
Preface to the finale, yeah, they're trying to get Sakura to realize that, like, hey, y'all need to work together, you can't do this alone. But Sakura is, like, freaking out, thinking no one else is taking it seriously, so they send him up into the mountains, and there's good humor. The
only thing that's really important from that episode
is the very end of it.
It's the very end, because she's like, shit, I messed up. Everybody else can work together, is like able to work together because they did all the stuff in the mountains while I was by myself practicing. And so she runs outside, I think, to clear her head or something.
Yeah, she's just like, I'm going to go on a run with Romero.
And it's all the same thoughts, or same shots as the opening of the show. And she runs out the front door, down the stairs, out the front door, then out the gate, and immediately a van hits her.
There's something important that I need to say right now. I don't think we ever actually remember to say this. Sakura does not have memories from her life.
Oh, yeah, she can't remember anything that happened before she died.
We're like an hour and 40 into the episode, and we forgot to mention it.
Yeah, she can't remember anything that happened before she died. And so, so she loses all of her memories, again, from being hit by this truck, of when she was dead. And now she only has memories of when she was alive.
Mm-hmm. So she knows, like, her backstory, she knows where she came from, but she has no idea what she's up to now.
Yeah. And saying her backstory is very depressing, because she would try at everything, and something would always happen and mess it up. And so she gave up on putting effort into things.
Mm-hmm. The next episode... sorry, did you have one more thing?
Well, that was... I mean... Is there much left in that episode?
That's literally how the episode ends.
I was already on to episode 11.
One thing I want to mention about the very beginning of episode 11, they do an SFX intro, like where like all of the jumps and the dancing have sounds. There's footprint sounds. They do like a JoJo style sound effect intro for this one.
Yeah.
Now that everything's going like absolutely nuts.
The zombies are talking now. You can hear them in the OP. Yeah, it is a different version of the OP, which is pretty cool.
They're still mirroring the first episode in this part, except now they're mirroring the segment where she wakes up in the house and is like running from Tai, runs into the big group, and people are trying to figure out what's going on. And when Sakura gets backed into the corner, she picks up the fireplace poker like she did the first time. And this is something that didn't register to me when I watched the show the first time, but I did on the rewatch. When Sakura picks up the poker, I panics, covers her head, and ducks because she's the one who got stabbed through the head in episode 1.
Yep.
Good continuity.
Yes. And then, before she does anything with it, though, she just gives up. She doesn't even try to swing or anything.
Doesn't even try to live.
No, it doesn't. She just gives up. And they're like, whoa, God, you've lost your memories, haven't you? And so she passes out because Tai like attacks her, essentially, because Tai loves her. And so she passes out. She wakes up, and Ai has all of her makeup on, and is talking to her to tell her, "Hey, listen. You need to listen to me so you can take this in. Don't be like super scared or anything, but you're dead." And it's like, we're all zombies, and you've been with us for a while. We're in a group. And then she goes to introduce her to everybody in the group.
And Sakura recognizes Ai. Sorry, that's worth mentioning.
Yes, because Ai was
Sakura's role model.
I was Sakura's role model because she found Ai, and then Ai said, something about like she can't give up.
She doesn't see mistakes as a bad thing.
Yeah, because once she gets over them, once she gets over all of her mistakes, she'll be the best version of herself.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of
and
thing.
Sakura like takes that to heart, and that's why she finally gets perked up to go apply, and then
why she wanted to be an idol, and then gets killed. And she'd had flashbacks throughout the show also of seeing Ai on stage, which was important.
Yeah, she was remembering a Saga Rock concert.
Yeah.
Or maybe not Saga Rock, but at least
it wasn't Saga
an
Rock.
Iron Frill concert.
It wasn't Saga Rock. It was. I'm pretty sure it's the one they were going to. They were going to do, where that was in the place where the last concert had been a, Iron Frill concert.
Oh, like, right, when they played at the
the final place. I don't remember the name.
I don't think I wrote down the name of the location. It had something to do with mountains.
Yeah, it's something I can't remember what it was though. But yeah. So then eventually, so she's just given up completely. Nothing anybody does is able to get her out of her funk. Tai is really trying. And Tai, because
Sakura was always the most patient with Tai, and that really, really embedded on her.
Yeah. And so Tai is like really trying to get Sakura back, and then eventually
there's a short aside that I would like to bring up before Tai like really gets to Sakura. And I mean, like, it literally happens in between here. We get some backstory-ish that I think is going to be relevant in Season 2. I don't know. I haven't watched it yet. I will very soon. Where basically Kotaro is, like, talking to another person who I'm pretty sure is supposed to also be a necromancer and or dead himself. Because the way he talks sounds like he's Kotaro's mentor. And he also talks as if he knew Yugiri when she was alive.
Yeah, the bartender.
Yeah. Sorry, yeah. So that's most likely set up for Season 2. But it does happen. I think it's worth bringing up.
Yeah, no.
After that is the sequence that I was remembering earlier and getting confused, where they keep, like, taking turns waking up, and, like, one of them's like, I'm gonna go take another shower, and then one of them's like, I'm gonna go look at the stars.
Lily
and then
said specifically, the stars are calling me.
The stars are calling me, yeah. And then there were some equally cheesy excuses. They were all really good.
Yeah, and then
what was
they were all going
do you remember?
one by one. Yeah, I remember hers. I was about to get to hers.
Okay.
See, they're all going one by one, and then they're going to talk to her in the room, and then Yugiri says, well, I guess it's time to go prepare the room. And then she leaves, and then we see her fully decked out in, like, her courtesan, like,
her geisha
attire.
Outfit.
Was it geisha?
I think it was geisha, isn't it?
I wasn't sure if it was fully geisha.
I might be wrong. I thought it was. I could be wrong. I'm not going to pretend to be an expert. Anyways,
she walks up the stairs like, all right, the number one courtesan is here in the house, and she's like, and Sakura's just not there anymore. Sakura had been gone for a while. She was outside, and she'd gone to a local park where the police officer finds her, starts to freak out, obviously.
Again,
as he does. And what happened? I don't remember, but the Kotaro comes up and does something to the police officer. I
think he knocks him out with a shovel.
That sounds about right. And is like, all right, look, let's go. Get your ass back to the house. And she's like, no, there's no point. And he's like, all right, well, come over here. We'll talk about it. She tells him everything. And he's like, so you're serious about quitting? And she's like, yeah, I can't do it. And he's like, okay. And he, like, walks off. And she's like, yeah, there's no point of me being here. And then it like, does a cut to a wider shot. And he's like, you dumbass, you think I'd actually go? What the hell? And he's like, look, there's one thing I'll never do, and that's give up on you. So get your ass back to this house. You're performing. And then she's like, oh, damn. All right, well, I guess that makes sense. And that kind of, like, sparks something in her. Then I says it, repeats what she'd said in that interview that Sakura had seen, and it all kind of comes together. She's like, all right, I guess I will try for them, even though I know shit's gonna go, sideways.
Yeah, and then the whole group basically has this big moment where they're like, look, yes, we know this could go completely sideways. We would rather fail with you than succeed without.
Yeah. And then so then it, skip forward a little bit, and they're at the event, or at the show.
Actually,
was there one thing
another
you
important
mentioned?
bit. Yeah, there's a flashback Kotaro.
Oh,
I think it's
yeah.
Kotaro knew Sakura when she was alive, and when Kotaro was much younger, like high school.
Yeah, which is, I'm pretty sure they were in the same class, because he picks up a CD that she had dropped, like an Idol CD that she had dropped, and I imagine that he had a crush on her. That's my guess. And that's why he's always he's both harder on her, but softer at the same time. Does that make sense?
And it would also explain like why she was brought back, because everybody else was some sort of like legend in some sort of like legendary biker, pop star, Iron Frail main, TV star,
They got a whole Danganronpa class.
Pretty much.
And then she's just like Naegi.
Yeah, she's just there. Although Tai also gets no descriptors. They're just like, Tai Yamada.
Because like nobody but Kotaro knows who she is.
Yeah, and he doesn't seem to care to tell anybody.
Well, he doesn't tell anybody anything about any of them until they ask or something. Yeah, he has to. Yeah. So then cut forward to the show, and they're all ready, and it's the heaviest snowfall in record for Saga. But people still came out to see, like a bunch of people, and so they're doing their show, and there's so much snow on the roof that some of the braces start to break. Breaks behind them in the middle of their song, smashes the stage. They keep going, and then eventually everything shatters.
Terrifying. The sound design was excellent on this, because you can feel the building breaking just through the sound work. It's terrifying.
Yeah, and everybody's like, damn, they're dead. Until I believe it was like Sakura's there like, oh god, I knew this would happen. It's kind of like, moaning and stuff. Then I gets up, starts singing, and then the rest of them kind of like one by one follow up, until eventually it gets to Sakura's like solo moment, where they just they completely still.
It's
and wait
such
for
a
her.
Powerful segment.
Yeah, because there's no music. All there is Kotaro clapping it to rhythmically to a beat.
To keep pace, and then the crowd ends up joining in. And I would like to mention, actually, the crowd, like every character who has been in the show is there. Drive-In Tori guy is there.
The two
Lily's dad,
boys.
the metal dudes, the girl from the Gorilla Show is there. Like everyone's there.
Yeah, everybody's there. Yep. Maria and Reiko and the rest of that biker gang is all there. Yeah, no, everyone is there. And then like Sakura's going through all of this stuff that like everybody had said to her, kind of deal, and then she gets up and starts singing, and it's a lot more fluid on her part. Like it's more like she knows what's going on, which was nice. Like the animation for her changed after this moment in this song, right?
Yeah.
And then at the end of the show, everybody's screaming encore, and they're back in their like dressing room, and Tai's chewing on Sakura's head, and they're like, so you remember everything? She's like, yeah, I'm sorry, I was an idiot. And they're like, shut up, dude. Shut up. And then they're like, well, oh man, I'm so glad you're back. And Kotaro comes in like, man, this is all great, isn't it? All this great, you're back to normal, Sakura. Great, this is great. The fans are calling for an encore. Why are you still back here? And then they go out for an encore and just absolutely kill it, and it's great.
And there's one last little bit of conflict that they go out with, where one of the final shots is the newspaper guy, the one that recognized Junko before, now also has cross-reference images of both alive and dead Ai and Lily. So this guy's like really starting to piece it together.
Well, but he also has no idea what's going on.
Well, yeah, because you're not going to assume there's literal zombies.
Yeah, exactly.
But when you're finding 3 famous, recognizable people and have lookalikes of 3 different identified people, you're going to be like, what the fuck is this? Yeah.
Yep, and that's like it's a cliffhanger completely open for season 2. But, yeah. I really liked the final episode. I thought it was a really good, finale.
Absolutely.
All right, well, can you go through your theory thing, whatever it's called, quickly Because I want to hear it. I want to hear it.
Okay, I was about to say, it's not that important, but okay. So basically what I was able to piece together, and I know I can just, like, look on the wiki and get the answers, but that defeats the purpose. So if these are wrong, it's because I haven't double-checked. This is what I was able to pull from the show.
I can try to cross-reference you with the like, AniList page.
So the most recent death was Lily. I put it down as a heart attack. It's officially mental shock. I think they're related. This would have been 7 years prior to the show. I'm assuming the show is set in 2018. That's when it came out. So that's the math I'm going off of.
Okay.
Which would put Lily having died in 2011. So
that's correct.
Okay. So, all right. So I am, like, actually onto this. Okay.
Do you want to know the day?
No, because, I mean, I'm only just trying to narrow it down to the year. I'm not going anything past that.
Okay. All right.
Saki is the other one that is explicitly given, because in the sequence before the bike crash, we see a signboard from 1997. So we know that's when Saki's stuff went down. These others require guessing. Sakura and I died in similar times. Both of them are referenced as having been dead 10 years. So that would be in the 2008 range. I believe that those are fuzzy 10 years. So, like, probably in the range of 8 to 12 years on each. Sakura would have died before Ai because she does not seem to know about Ai's lightning incident.
Okay.
So I'm going to guess... I would guess that Sakura was hit by the car somewhere around, like, 2007 or 8, and then I would have been struck by lightning around 2008 or 9. That would be my guess.
They both died in 2008. Sakura was first.
2008?
Sakura was first. I was second. Sakura's was April. Ai's was August.
Okay, so yeah, they're both... Yeah, okay, so they are... So 10 years was an exact number then, so they were both 2008. I was banking on them being fuzzy numbers, but I suppose it is absolutely possible for them to have died in the same year. Either way, Sakura would have been first because she doesn't know that I was dead.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, Sakura, Saki... Junko is one of the fuzzier ones. However, if the 10 years was an exact number, then her 30 years is probably also exact then, being dead in 1988 then would have been when her plane crashed if it's 30 years exact.
No, it's not 30 years exact.
Okay, so hers is a fuzzy number. My final put, I just wound up just putting 80s.
Is that at least correct? 1983.
1983. So that's 35 years.
Yeah, it's about 35 years, yeah.
Okay, so that's weird that they wouldn't say 35 because that's a nice round number. Either way, it was close enough.
And now you got Yugiri.
Yugiri, I don't know the year. I don't have any way to narrow down the year. All we know is sometime after the shogunate, so 1880-ish range. However, I mentioned that I thought you could start to tell characters' deaths from their design. The reason I said it is because, again, I thought Lily had, like, a heart attack, and that's why her heart was coming out. I would have been, like, super burned up from the lightning strike, and that's why she's, like, 95% bandages. You can't really get too much information off of Sakura and Saki, though, because they're... and Junko, because they were all in just, like, vehicle crashes. However...
I don't know. I would disagree.
Well, I mean, Sakura actually, yeah, she has that big scar, like, right
Sakura's
on her forehead where she landed.
Scar. Doesn't Saki have a lot of bandages?
She does, yeah, on, like, her arms and stuff.
Her motorcycle exploded when she hit the ground.
Yeah, that's fair, actually. So, yeah, so there's a lot of clues in the design. I didn't realize this the first time through, but on the second time I did pick up on that, which is why I'm confident that Yugiri was beheaded, because she has a huge scar stitch line right across her neck, all the way across, all the way around.
Yeah,
so
most
beheaded
likely.
In the 1880s range.
Yeah. I'm not sure about the method of death, but most likely beheaded 1882.
1882. So. Okay. Dude, I it felt like a freaking math logic puzzle. I was like geeking out about this for like an entire evening, and I'm very excited to realize that how close I was to having it all accurate.
Would you like to take a guess as to how old Yugiri was?
Ooh.
When she died.
I mean, she's clearly older than the rest of the cast. Anime designs are a tricky thing. So...
But also, take into account, before you guess, take into account the difference in time.
It's somewhere between... I would want to say somewhere between 20 and 30. Like, I think she's in her 20s. She's definitely older than all the teenagers she's hanging out with right now.
Yeah, that's why I said to take into account, like, the time period.
Yeah, because I was initially going to say 30, but honestly, for like Meiji period, probably younger.
She was
so
19.
I'd say 20s. She's not 19. She's like
she
20.
is 19.
You're not going to convince me otherwise.
She was born in 1863. And she is only barely 19 also.
As far as I'm concerned, she's like 24.
Yeah, mentally, because she had to grow up a lot faster.
Yeah, no, definitely.
So that's why she has that air to her. Whereas... Wait, 1 second. Hold up. Okay, Junko was also 19. Sakura...
Yeah, I was not guessing anyone's ages. The only one that I know for a fact is Lily, because she says she's 12.
Right, Sakura is 17. I was 16. Yeah, I was 16. And Saki was... ...21.
Wait,
Saki
really?
is the oldest, yeah.
Wait, Saki's 21?
Saki is 21.
Then why does Yugiri look so much older than...
Because she had to grow up faster. And
I would have assumed that...
Her position, she was probably starting to be trained at, like, 12.
I 1000% would have guessed that Saki was, like, the same age as, like, Sakura, and that Yugiri would have been the oldest by a significant amount. Like, I was placing her around 25 in my guessing.
Also, as far as, at least on Annie list, there is no dates for Tai.
Well, yeah, obviously, because that, like...
but...
I mean...
And I do remember...
Actually, don't tell me any more about Tai, because Season 2 information is included in this right now.
Okay, but I'm pretty sure I do remember Kotaro mentioning... I don't know if... I'm pretty sure I remember it, but, like, I don't want to say it just in case. But she does have a specific title, which makes sense with all of the other girls. Was this something that
was mentioned in Season 1?
I believe Kotaro said it, but I can't be, like, for sure about it, you know? So I don't want to mention it to you in case it wasn't.
Yeah, let's dodge it just on the off chance, because I will be watching Season 2, like, within the week,
It isn't, like, anything, like, that's really going to spoil it at all. But...
Either way,
she does have a very specific title. So
I'm still just gonna bask in my hype with the fact that I had narrowed down the years almost perfectly for almost all of them. I'm proud of myself for that.
Yeah, no, that's pretty good,
dude. The only one that really threw me for such a loop, because again, I didn't think too hard on Yugiri since they just don't talk about it that much, was Junko. Like, I had to change like 4 or 5 times until they said 30 years, because. At first, I thought 80s, and then I had gotten, like, confused with, like, the level of technology she was familiar with and some of the lingo she used. My brain got decades mixed up, and so I shoved her back to, like, the border of, like, 60s to 70. Oh. 60s to 70s. And then, like, doubled that back to 80s. No, wait, the reason I brought it to 60s is because she said she was 2 generations prior to Sakura, and I thought generations were 20 years per.
Oh.
So that math would have put 60s.
Yeah.
I guess generations are short now. I don't know.
I think a generation is more like, I don't know. I don't think millennials is 20 years. Like, I don't think you have like Gen Z is not like a 20-year span of people. Like baby boomers is like 10 years or so, I think. Maybe not even. So I think that's what she meant by generation.
Yeah. Either way, I got confused and it messed with the math, but
You did.
yeah, that's why I said 88
so.
is because I assumed that 10 years for two different characters meant fuzzy numbers. So therefore somewhere in the 30 range, so 80s was the best I was able to give.
Yeah. No, that's pretty good. Yeah. I mean, I'm definitely, I'm pretty impressed, honestly, because I wasn't gonna do any fucking math.
Yeah, I don't know why this is the aspect of it that I went like obsessive geekery about, but like it was a fun little puzzle to solve. Is kind of the way I saw it.
Alrighty. Well, are you ready to give your final thoughts?
Yeah. All right. I was gonna say you go for yours.
No, I think you should.
Go ahead.
This was your
You
pick.
want me to go first?
You go ahead and go first. Yeah.
I fucking love this show. The only complaint I have about it is the 3D, and even then, that's a mild complaint. The characters are lovely and are some of my favorites, particularly Yugiri and Saki are both amazing. The sound, the music is like top quality. They're absolute bops. You know, like the OP and pretty much anything that French Yushu sings are amazing. The sound design on other bits is like super powerful. Like when the stage is starting to crumple in the finale, the sound of it makes you feel like you are there. It gets that innate fear of this building's gonna fucking fall on me. It is so well done. The visuals are astounding, particularly in, again, the scene when the stage collapses on them in the finale, in the explosions, particularly the flashback of the explosion of Saki's wreck. Like the first time, the visual where I get struck by lightning, like stuck with me and left me kind of like stunned for a moment. Everything about this show is almost everything about the show. Again, I'm not fond of the 3D, but even then, it's passable. Is so remarkably well done. And to add on to that, this is one of a very small select few shows that has successfully made me cry. All of that together, 10 out of 10, hands down. Watch this show.
All right. Wow, you went hard, dog.
I had originally had this listed as an 8, and then while we were talking about it, I saw an 8, and I'm like, oh, that's fucking wrong. I need to fix that.
Oh my god.
So it went up like 2 points since the first time I watched it.
Yeah. All right. Well, I was already a sucker for idol shows before I watched this the first time. I was already deep in Love Live. Ruby is best girl.
This is the only idol show I've watched, by the way. It's not my kind of genre. So that's like a bonus. That's like extra interesting.
Mm-hmm. So I already kind of knew I was going to like it going in. And then it's got fantastic characters, great jokes, the art, like the animation is fantastic. I love the character designs, especially Saki and Tai. Oh my god. Good shit. So, I mean, there's, you know, it balances that comedy and horror and, like, really intense dramatic moments so well. But I don't, for whatever reason, I just can't, it doesn't hit me like a Devilman Crybaby does, or like Haikyuu does, right? And for that, it will stay at the score that it was when I first watched it. It's not moving, not budging. It is a solid 9. I absolutely love this show. Highly recommend it. I think anybody can watch it and like it. So yeah, good shit.
Consensus of a shot of Weeb. Go watch the show. Do yourself a favor.
Yeah. Honestly, look, it's rare that we agree on a show, especially like this.
We didn't give the same scores though.
We didn't give the same scores, but we chose same best girl.
I dare say it's a little bit closer than the 7-point differential we've had before.
Yes. But like even then, you know, like we rarely are we this like in agreement with the show.
We do not follow the same wavelengths.
No, not at all. So if we can agree on it, that's a sign to go watch this show. Highly recommend.
And I can't wait to watch season 2. As soon as we get past these like bulk recordings that we're doing and like things space out again, I'm hopping straight into season 2, and I can't wait.
Yeah. Well,
so
I guess that's all we've got left is next week.
Next week is a show that neither have seen. That's the part of the rotation, right, that we're on?
Yes, neither of us have seen this show. I've been recommended it, and it seems super interesting, so I brought it up, and, I was like, yeah, sure, why not? It is based on a visual novel. Not the first one we've done, I don't think. Maybe. I don't know. I'll have to go check. But
I think it might be.
It might. There's a very high possibility it is. But the visual novel is the original visual novel. It was made by the same people who did Muv-Luv. If you know Muv-Luv, then if you know, you know. What we're gonna be watching is Kimi ga Nozomu Ain, or Kimi Nozo. I think it'll be a lot of fun. Very different show from what we watched this week. So
I've already forgotten what it's about, so I'm going to be surprised when we go to watch it.
It's a romance. That's all I really know about it.
Means I'm probably going to enjoy it. I'm a sucker for that kind of thing.
Yeah. So I'm very excited. Neither of us have watched it, so we'll see in that episode next Saturday.
Next Saturday.
Or whenever you're listening, honestly.
30 years in the future.
Oh, God. That's a long time. But, all right. Well, thank you so much for watching. I guess we do have to do the shill segment. I will do that very quickly.
Yeah, literally as fast as possible. Fewest words as possible.
Give me money. You said as few as possible, so I thought that would work.
I was drinking water that hurt.
I know, that was why I did it then. All right.
Clock.
So, but in all seriousness, if you're watching this on YouTube, we also do upload audio onlys for this. Basically anywhere that you listen to podcasts. And if you're listening to this as a podcast, audio only, then come check out the YouTube, where you can see our arguably beautiful faces. And
don't watch the video on this episode. I'm melting in the heat.
Then if you would like to support us, we do have ads running on Anchor. That gives us a little small kickback. Or
Anchor and any other audio platform.
Yeah, any other audio platform for podcasts.
Because Anchor distributes it.
Yes, and if we also have a link on our Anchor homepage, which you can find in the description, for if you would like to donate us money directly. We don't need it. We're fine, but the option is
jobs.
there. Yeah, we've got jobs. We're doing this for fun, but the option is there if you would like to. And if you do and would like to be shouted out in an episode, just DM one of us on Twitter. I am at SeaweedAMB. He is at the Epic Wob. And you should also follow us there because, I retweet some good art.
I post channel updates.
He posts the podcast update. I retweet good art. But send us a DM with like the receipt and, just letting us know that you donated, and we'll shout you out at the end of the episode, beginning, wherever it happens. Not the most structured show. But also check out my YouTube channel. I upload videos, the Seaweed Ambassador. And I think that does it for shilling. Also,
and
please,
we're already
Palmer Spiked. Please sponsor me.
We're already like 20 minutes past time, so we'll see you next Saturday or whenever time you're watching this with Kimi Nozo. Look forward to seeing you there.
Bye-bye.